And now skipping through some of the evolution and getting right into strategy, tactics, and logistics in Revolutionary War. Here's one of his quotes. "The first law of war is to preserve ourselves and destroy the enemy." Very simple. You know, I talk about simplicity all the time. We wrote about it in the book. Is there any more simple principle to wage war other than the first law of war is to preserve ourselves and destroy the enemy? Mao has never claimed that guerrilla action alone is decisive in a struggle for political control of the state, but only that it is a possible, natural, and necessary development in an agrarian-based revolutionary war. So he doesn't think it can do everything, but he knows it plays a very critical part. Revolutions rarely compromise. Compromises are made only to further the strategic design. I'll read that again. Compromises are made only to further the strategic design. Negotiation, then, is undertaken for the dual purpose of gaining time to buttress a position and to wear down, frustrate, and harass an opponent. So this is, again, we talked about this on the last podcast. It's not about being right. You make those compromises because you're trying to win the war, not the battle. Mm-hmm. Intelligence is the decisive factor in planning guerrilla operations. Where is the enemy? In what strength? What does he propose to do? What is the state of his equipment, his supply, his morale? Are his leaders intelligent, bold, and imaginative, or stupid? Are his troops tough, efficient, and well-disciplined, or poorly trained and soft? Guerrillas expect the members of their intelligence service to provide the answers to these and dozens of more detailed questions. Guerrilla intelligence nets are tightly organized and pervasive. In a guerrilla area, every person, without exception, must be considered an agent. Old men and women, boys driving ox carts, girls tending goats, farm laborers, storekeepers, school teachers, priests, boatmen, scavengers. So when you're dealing with a guerrilla situation, everybody's an intelligence gatherer. And that's how you have to treat them all. As a corollary, guerrillas deny all information of themselves to their enemy, who is enveloped in an impenetrable fog. This is a characteristic feature of all guerrilla wars. The enemy stands on a lighted stage. From the darkness around him, thousands of unseen eyes intently study his every move, his every gesture. When he strikes out, he hits air. His antagonists are insubstantial, as intangible as fleeting shadows in the moonlight. That's a great way of looking at it. Back to the book. Because of superior information, guerrillas always engage under conditions of their own choosing. Because of superior knowledge of terrain, they're able to use their advantage and the enemy's discomfiture. Guerrillas fight only when the chances of victory are weighed heavily in their favor. What a great tactic. Only fight when chances of victory are weighed heavily in their favor. If the tide of battle unexpectedly flows against them, they withdraw. They rely only on imaginative leadership, distraction, surprise, and mobility to create victorious situation before the battle is joined. This is all stuff to think about in everything that you do. Why are you going into a battle if you have not prepared and set the situation up where you're going to be victorious? If you start losing, don't stand there and take a beating. Just walk away, fade away. The enemy is deceived and again deceived. Attacks are sudden, sharp, vicious, and of short duration. Many are harassing in nature. Others are designed to dislocate the enemy's plans and to agitate and confuse his commanders. The mind of the enemy and the will of his leaders is a target of far more importance than the bodies of his troops. So this is an attack on the will of the leaders. And how do you do that? You confuse him, you harass him. Mao once remarked, not entirely false, that guerrillas must be experts at running away since they do it so often. They avoid static dispositions. Their effort is always to keep the situation as fluid as possible, to strike where and when the enemy least expects them. Only in this way can they retain the initiative and so be assured of freedom of action.